Debbie. So welcome. This is, what number is this? Number 3? I think I've taught this 3 times, level 3. So, level 3, level 2. So, welcome. I'm Dr. Maya Alapin, Mama Soul Doc. I am not a medical doctor. I am not a mental health care practitioner. These are disclosures that I have to give in the province where I am teaching this course. So please know that nothing I'm doing in here is about curing people. I'm not going to talk about diagnosis. Anything you hear along those lines is based on my clinical experience only. I'm going to do a little bit of disclaimers and I'll do a little bit of housekeeping. Then we'll get right into the skills for today, which will be the most fun. So first of all, Jim Grimm is in the top left-hand corner of my screen anyway. I don't know where he is on yours, but he's wearing his Disney tie today, also in the holiday gear mentality because he's helping me out today. So if you need anything, you can drop it in the chat. Jim will read it out to me. He will also help us, set up our demos, etc. Hi, Jim. Jim is a decorated veteran. Jim is a grandpa. Jim is an excellent hypnotist, hypnotherapist. So you can totally depend on him. Most of you already know him. Just remember that everything I'm teaching is for your information. It's for you to use. It's not an accreditation program. Wow, look at how big the screen is. Wow. So you're not going to get a diploma. I'm not going to certify you in anything. I'm not going to tell you you can do something that you couldn't do before. Whatever laws exist where you are. Like, for example, I've been watching Sky launch her business over the past couple of weeks on online. And I mean, you're in Mexico, so I'm guessing they have less rules, but I'm just saying wherever you are, you need to know the rules of where you are. So I don't know the rules of where you are, and I'm not going to talk about that today or on day 3, but whatever you do, check. This is not a program that will give you any piece of paper. Just recognize who you are coming to this. It's December. It's, right before the holidays. You're here to learn this hypnotic skill. So it tells you something already about what's possible because you're here. So I just want you to start by thinking that through. Oh, I'm the kind of person who cares so much about this product and becoming good at it that I'm taking, a weekend out of my December to learn it. So it already gives you a lot of insight into why you're special and what's good about your commitment. So I just want you to notice that right at the outset, because you might wonder as we go through the next 2 days, like, what the hell is she talking about? How am I going to do that? What gives here? And so every time you get into any doubt, I want you to just remind yourself, like, here I am. I'm here. That means I'm good at this. That means I'm here for a reason. So have no doubt if you feel confused or lost, you can ask questions, but also remind yourself that you're self-selected. Whatever you do for a living right now, whatever you're practicing, the reason you came here to level 2 is to make it faster and easier on yourself. So just know that whatever you learn this weekend is going to speed up your product. So this is kind of the goal of level 2, is to take out the guessing game that comes out of conversational hypnosis, ACH, which is like, what question should I ask? Is it working? Now we're going to take away all of that kind of doubt and confusion and just go with, okay, I know how to do this. Now, how do I speed it up? I really am into the speed product. Like, my product right now is really 1 visit. I do sell it in a package. I'll talk about that on day 3, but my transformation is day 1. And the reason for that is because of level 2. So that's why you're here. Everything that I do is results-based. So I'm not looking to prove anything to you. We're just going to do it by demonstration and by experience. I did start my business with scripts, just like everybody else. I learned how to read a script. I learned how to do induction, talk, in descending numbers and all of that. And I have moved to this 100% because it's so much less pressure and so much easier on me. So that's exactly why I'm teaching it, so that you can have that same experience. You guys all know that the history of hypnosis that we're doing, the conversational method, starts with Milton Erickson. I mean, probably before that, as I've told you, it comes from classical Greece. It's way before that. But this Ericksonian model that we're using, it's kind of a misnomer to think that the Ericksonian model is a questioning model, because it's not. Erickson was not all about questions. He was not all ACH. It's kind of been uh, distilled into thinking that's true, but it's not. Like, really, what Erickson was about was intuition, immediacy, reading people without having to do much work. So I think that level two is really Ericksonian in a way that ACH will never be. ACH, although we say it's not a formula, and although we act like it's not a method, there's a certain method involved, right? There's a certain questioning method. Today, I'm going to really show you that you don't need to have that method. Like, I think there's a little bit of a joke involved in level one, which is, oh, there's no method, there's no method, there's no method. And then everyone's like, but we're using this questioning method, we're using this hypothetical, uh, interrogative method. So where did we come up with this there's no method thing, right? So it's not true that level one has no method, but it is true that level two is anti-method. So I'm going to teach you content-free hypnosis today in a way that level one is not content-free. Everybody knows that I keep telling you, you forget everything you learned in level one, and really, I do want you to forget everything you learned in level one. And I'm going to show you, of course, how to integrate them together. But for now, just forget everything you learned. That means we're going to develop like a radical faith in the subconscious. That's what we're going to do this weekend. Okay, so just a few rules. Just hold on. I need to turn my heater off. It's too hot where I am. Just wait 1 second.
Extra credit for everybody if you can see how many elf on the shelves are in Maya's office.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Jim. They're all over my house, but Jim made me bring them into the office. Can you see them? 1, 2. They're going to move around. Okay, so house rules. I am recording the whole weekend. Even if you're on break, it's still recording. So if you're yelling at your, spouse, or, going to the bathroom or whatever, it will be recorded. So just be aware of that. If you're demoing, just be aware that it's being recorded. Obviously, I can edit later, but just, pay attention to what you're advertising about yourself and what you're sharing. During the demos, I will ask you to turn off your screen, turn off your volume. I'll do it manually myself. If you don't do it, don't be offended if I do it. If I turn your screen off, you have to ask me to turn it back on afterwards. So don't feel like I just excluded you. It's just because I'm trying to maintain the quality of the recording. Take care of yourself. You're all, mature, self-care, healing people. So I don't need to explain to you what that means, but eat on your own schedule, get water, get a cup of tea. As you can see, my throat is already sore from working all week because I had extra to do because I was away for a while. So I'll be taking care of my throat as well. Go to the bathroom when you want. We will have breaks. I'm going to break up today into 3 parts. So I'll have a break every, hour and a half or so, but I can't promise when that'll be. So take your own. Use the chat if you need anything, if you need me, if you need Jim, if you get confused, if you have, any kind of problem, of course, you can direct message me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. You guys all know from taking level one with me that the demos are caught, not taught, right? Like, so when you're watching the demo, you're just catching what's happening as an observer. It doesn't matter if you understand the so-called theory. So allow yourself that experience of just being involved in it. And as you volunteer, similarly, there's no pressure. There's no pressure to have a breakthrough. There's no pressure to answer a certain way. Like, the whole thing is educational. So just have fun, enjoy it, There's nothing I expect of you. We're just experimenting. And as you know, I'm a pretty relaxed, chill person. So whatever happens is good. There's no wrong way to demo. So don't hesitate. By all means, take the opportunity because that's like definitely the best way to learn. What else do I want to say? Okay, that's it for my introduction. Does anyone have any questions? The structure of the weekend is like this. Today, I'm going to explain the principles of level 2. I'm going to do that in 2 parts, okay? The first part is going to be like the overall perspective on what's different about level 2, and then I'll do a demo. And then I'm going to give you like the theory of what is different. So you might be sitting there during the first part, like, well, she didn't really tell me like what's the meat and bones of it yet. And that's true. I'm going to do it in a scaffolded way so that you can learn one thing and then learn another thing. So if at some point you're like, yeah, I'm not sure I'm following, maybe just wait until you see the whole thing in totality. Tomorrow, I will combine level 1 and level 2 so you can see it all work together. And then, like I said, uh, on day 3, I'm gonna take everything that you learned in those 2 days and turn it to business. Like, why is it that now that we know this, we can go faster in business and make more money? So it'll all make sense in the end. Do not worry about it in the meantime. Okay, so I want you to tell me first. You can unmute yourselves if you want. First of all, does anyone have any questions on the weekend, on anything? Just yell them out if you have any as we go along. You can also raise your hand and I'll answer you. So I'll ask you a question to start. What's the trouble with level 1? What's the trouble with ACH? What's hard about it? What challenges have you had with your own customers?
What questions to ask?
Yeah, it's very hard to know sometime, like, well, what's the next question? Or even what series of questions should I do? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and how not to spin around the symptom by, let's say, asking the same questions over and over, or
Right.
kind of similar questions.
Exactly. Totally. And the thing is, too, we all get our favorite questions, well, what's stopping you? Okay, why is that important to you? And sometimes you're like, oh God, I've already done this 10 times this week. And like, maybe that's not the thing this person really wants to hear. Or sometimes you're thinking, like, is this even relevant to this person? Is it just that I'm used to asking these questions? And then you have your people who you're like, why is it important? What's stopping you? And in 15 seconds, they've already run through all of your good questions and said absolutely jack shit. And you're like, fuck, all my good questions I already used. Now what am I going to do for the next 2 hours? I've been there too. And then there's like, is this even the right quality of question? Like, are we even on the right topic? Where are we? So that's right, Helen.
What to do with I don't know.
Yeah, totally. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yep. You already asked me that. That was when I used to get when I started, like, but you already said that. And you're like, oh, did I? Right.
Say the repetition. I've had clients say like, well, you keep asking me the same thing.
Now. And isn't it true, Sky, that when you get into that, it starts to feel a little bit argumentative? You're like, well, I'm sort of like shaking you a little. I'm trying to get somewhere with you, and you're not going there. And now I'm feeling a little bit like, come on. And then it becomes tense. Like, that's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it gets a little circular, gets repetitive. You get lost and you lose your confidence. Then it's like, who's really in charge of this right now? Yep. All of this is correct and familiar to me. Yes, yes.
Analytical clients.
Yeah, totally. Exactly what level 2 is designed for, by the way. Like, let me just say this, Naomi, or how do you say your name? Noemi?
Noemi.
Very pretty. I love that. Analytical clients, let's just be honest, they're not good candidates for ACH. Sometimes you can get through knots with ACH, but a lot of the time your analytical clients feel attacked because they're analytical. So as soon as you ask them something, they're like already back on their heels. So what are you supposed to do with those types of people? And by the way, in the same category as analysts, I also think of teens, like teen clients, which I love. And I think I'm going to change my niche to teens because it's really my favorite. But they're not that great with that analytical thing. First of all, their minds haven't evolved to that kind of place yet. And also, they're just not in the mood to argue. Like they want something else. So, what are we supposed to do with that? Analytical people, people who are hard to penetrate. I don't know. What else did we say was challenging? Repetition. Anything else?
Just people who tell stories over and over and over. They don't stop and think about what you're asking.
Yes, spin around the symptom, way too much venting, way too much unrelated information. Yes. Okay, so these are the problems. Any others?
Highly intelligent people usually sniff out things very quickly.
You said intelligent, highly intelligent. Oh yeah, and so what do you think they're doing? They're suspicious of us right off the bat?
Yeah, suspicious. And then if I were to repeat the question, you've asked that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they're tracking us. They're tracking
Yeah.
us.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And then it's at a high price too. So they're tracking me and I'm like, ugh, $2,000. Now they're tracking me to find out if I'm worth $2,000. It's a little bit of stress involved in that. Totally. Exactly. Anything else? I think we covered it. You nailed it. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. I know it's more fun to do demos right off the bat like we did before, but I want to start today with the first level of introduction to level 2 so that we can talk about how to address the problems that I just listed, you guys just listed. And then later, I'm going to fill it out with explanation and theory. So we will do a demo in the middle so we can like gain our momentum. But first, I want to just set up this context for you about like, how will this level 2 alleviate all of these stress points and all of these teething problems that you're coming up with? So if you're in the beginning of your business, to me, today is going to be a turning point for you because you're going to find out that the ACH method is not what I'm using. Like a lot of you have been watching me on YouTube or you come to my, demos on whenever I do them Tuesday nights, or you've been in my level 1 course and you've watched me interrupt you 5,000 times and you're asking like, well, what is she doing? Like, why is it not exactly ACH? So now I'm going to start to give you a really good answer to what am I actually doing and how is it not ACH? Okay, because it's not. I'm not using ACH the whole time, and a lot of you have realized that. So let's start with the way way macro perspective, and then I'm going to narrow in on it as we go through the weekend. Okay, level 2, you know who I am. Yes, I will come up with a better name than level 2, but for now, that's what I have going. Okay, so why these people are excited is because they're motivated. Now, did we talk about motivation in level 1? Not really. In level 1, what are we mostly doing? Solving problems. How are we doing it? I want you to answer. How are we solving the problems in level 1?
Undoing knots.
Yep, undoing knots. And how do we undo knots? Using the hypnotic method.
Asking questions.
Yeah, and what do the questions do? What's the result of the question?
Unconscious. So we get to unconscious moments.
Yeah, exactly. So we're asking a question to go subconscious, which becomes a process of, as we know from level 1, fractionation. Fractionation is that thing of go to the subconscious, come back, go to the subconscious, come back, go to the subconscious, come back. So the coming back is not the problem solving. The problem solving is that movement, right? To go there, to go there, to go there until you've been there so much or enough times that you're there. That's not exactly the same as feeling momentum towards solving the problem. So that's really using the superconscious or subconscious mind to find a resource which loosens the tension around the problem, which creates an opening, right? So that's a little bit of a deconstructed way to solve problems, which is effective. I mean, we've watched it work on screen many times, right? Level 1, I haven't taught you any of what I'm teaching you today, and we saw lots of problems resolve themselves. So it works. But what's missing from that is what these people feel, which is like, oh, that was fun. Like, this is exciting. Let's have more of that. So that's what we're going to add today is instead of just undoing problems, also giving more fuel to the positive end of that, the future pacing end of that, the excitement end of that. I mean, just talking about it, even in that last 2 minutes, I think gives you a lot of perspective into like, we can't just work on the negatives. We have to also work on the positives that people bring. And if they don't bring them, we have to put their attention on what they are. So this and this is the gist. And by the way, I have a very visual presentation today. So if you're not a visual person, you might be wondering like, what is she talking about? So then ask with your words, that's fine. But that is what I'm looking for, is that uplifting feeling of jumping off the ground, right? Like when they come to you, they're very in the ground with their problem. I'm depressed. I have anxiety. I'm stuttering. I'm, have ED. I can't get a boner. Okay, well, all those things are like down to the ground. But so now what we're looking for is like, okay, but what do we do to create this as well? Not only this, because that's coaching, right? That's annoying when you go to coaching and they're like, yeah, so what's your schedule for next week? Yay, let's do this. And you're like, oh, fuck you. I don't like any of that. That's not what I'm going for. But it has an element of that. Like, okay, what about that yes mentality? How do we get more of that without hitting you over the head with it with a coaching call, right? So that's the direction I'm going. We already talked about the problems with ACH. The problems with ACH are defined by what I just said, which is if we're focused on problems, we're necessarily already moving in a direction that is inherently going to bring out pain. Like that's just what it is. You can't solve people's problems without somewhat prodding into them, which is going to create either a physical reaction or a regression or some kind of, argumentative feeling in them. So the problem with ACH so far is it's focused in a retrospective dimension, and it's also focused on something that's inherently heavier. So what do we do to balance that out? That's what level 2 is about. Why would I choose this as the image of ACH? And it took me a while to like choose the one I really wanted, but I went with this one. It's nice and simple, but like, what's the deal?
Purgatory.
Oh, that's deep. That's not what I was thinking. You're higher, that's a higher level of thinking than I was going for. But yeah, it's a little bit of purgatory. It's a little bit like, let's burn the shit out of you, which is what we're doing and is effective. But yeah, what else? What else do you get out of this? This is my mental like way of explaining to you what I see ACH as.
It's intense.
Yeah, exactly. Joanna is exactly right. It's very intense, right? Especially when you get an analytical person. Okay, so what's the problem? I want to quit smoking. Okay, why is that important to you? Because my kids are watching me smoke and I'm embarrassed. Okay, well, what's stopping you? Well, I'm addicted to smoking and I love it. It's like, ugh, it's so intense and it's so aggressive and it's so like direct, right? It burns you. Like it has a lot of potential to burn. If that's all you're using, I bet you feel a little burnt yourself, right? It's a little bit of a burn. Anything else, ACH? It's hot. Hey, by the way, this is what's awesome about it. This is what's so effective about ACH is like if I take what is that thing called that you use to burn, into cows or whatever, if I take that pitchfork that's hot and I put it on your problem, like, well, it's gonna burn a little, it's also gonna keep the infection away. Like it's gonna be effective. So this is both a negative and a positive. Like this is what gives us our superpower. So that's great. I cannot do my job without this ability to burn. But also, if it's all I do, then I become like scary, even like a bitch. I don't want that. That's not what I want my clients to think of. I'm not going to get tons of referrals if that's the way I'm perceived. And it's not going to be effective for all the people that we listed. Analytical people, young people, seniors. I work with senior people as well. They don't like that. Super intelligent people don't want to get into it. Not that I'm saying lots of clients aren't super intelligent. The vast majority are very highly intelligent. But it's got like a danger component to it, right? This image is not the guy, this image is the motor of the car, but I didn't know, I couldn't find one that was obviously a car without the guy. But what I think of as level 1 ACH is I'm teaching you the motor of a car. The motor of the car drives the car. Without the motor of the car, we ain't going nowhere. There's no hope. There's no solving of problems. There's no $100,000 a year business, okay? So like without the motor, we're fucked. But can the car drive just as a motor? No, you cannot drive a motor. You need a car to drive a motor. This is level 1 and 2 together, where the motor is in here, the ACH is in here, and here we are doing level 2. I'm the blue car now. And of course, I chose this image because what we're driving around to people is their peace and love and future, of wellness. So this is what we need to be when we appear in front of the clients, not this. Does that make sense? We need to come off to them this way. Also, this way feels a lot better than going to work and being this. If you go to work every day like this, what's going to happen is you will burn them and you will burn yourself. If you go to work every day like this and the hot engine is in here in its little protected chamber, you will have a much easier business. You'll have much easier results. Your clients will like you better, and you'll be known as the lady who drives the nice blue car, and it makes all good sense and feels good. That's my perception of my business.